You're listening to episode 8 of the Fearless English podcast. Welcome to the Fearless English podcast, where it's all about helping you confidently communicate with anyone without compromising who you are. Let's get started, Fearless Learner. Hello, Fearless Learner, and welcome to this week's episode. This week, I've invited my friend Ali from Papa Teach Me to talk about food. He's asked me not to say nice things about him, so I won't. However, his work does speak for itself. So go and check out his lessons. I've added the link in the show notes. This counts as not saying anything nice, right? Well, hello, Ali, and
Hello.
welcome to the Fearless podcast. Super excited to have you on here.
This is so nice to be here. It's so chill.
So today we're going to be talking about food, and I know you're a big fan of food. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, can you cook?
I couldn't cook, but now I can. Ish. Over lockdown, I tried to expand I wanted to add a few more dishes to my repertoire. So I started nice and easy. I started with, what's the ratatouille? I started with that.
That I don't know, why you'd say that is easy. Apparently, that's like really difficult to make.
No, it's literally just chopped up vegetables cooked. I mean, all cooking is just like chop something up, cook it,
Yeah.
done.
But
That's
what makes ratatouille though special? Because I always hear everybody talking about it, and I've never actually tried ratatouille.
It's not that special. Like it is just vegetables in a sauce with a meat or a tofu. It's like it's not crazy special. It's just like, oh, okay, this is kind of refreshing and nice. It doesn't feel heavy. It's just kind of nice. But that's my least favorite. The most favorite thing that I learned how to cook was creamy truffle pasta.
Ooh, I
It's
love anything truffle.
and cheese. Do you have a favorite cheese?
You know, I became lactose intolerant during the lockdown for some reason. I'm blaming everything on COVID right now. But
Jesus.
I do love brie. Brie is like one of my favorite cheeses.
Big brie guy.
Do you like brie?
I love brie. I'll get a fresh baguette, warm it up, a bit of brie, just go to town on it. Oh, so good. So bad though. Like,
So bad.
yeah. So the creamy truffle pasta is like 1,000,000 calories, but it's so good.
So what kind of truffle do you use? Just truffle salt or?
For me, well, you can substitute pretty much whatever you want that's truffle-ish. I use truffle oil in the
Okay.
cooking of it.
Ah.
But if you're one of those fancy people who can afford real truffles, you can like use truffle shavings or grate
Mm,
the truffle.
that sounds
I
so
mean, who
good.
can afford that? Not me.
It's like, could I get a few grams of truffle, please?
Yeah, I can pay in my blood.
Okay, so you've made what's like the fanciest thing you've made during
That
the
one.
okay, because of the
Yeah,
truffle part, right? Not the
pretty,
pasta, obviously.
pretty much. Also, I think anything that's really salty or really fatty is A, going to taste really good,
hmm
and B, is automatically fancy.
Okay, so I mean, if you had to what kind of cuisines do you always lean towards? Like whenever you have to choose a dish or you want to order food, what
Mm.
dishes do you prefer? Like what kind of cuisine?
I tend to go with a lazy option. So if I can just get a pizza, that's the first option. There will there will be more hiccups, I'm sure.
Breathe, Ali, breathe.
Bitch.
Okay, so going back to the cuisine, you didn't really answer.
I did.
Did you?
Didn't I? Didn't I? I don't know
Yeah.
which cuisines I lean towards, right? Okay, so if I'm ordering, that means I'm lazy. Pizza. Just that's the
Mhm.
easiest option. I'm never going to be unhappy with it. No, or McDonald's with a McFlurry.
Hmm.
Okay, here's the question for you. When you get McDonald's or any takeaway food, I feel like I haven't honored my needs unless I have an ice cream product like a McFlurry or a milkshake.
Hmm.
How do you feel about a frozen dessert or
I do
thing?
enjoy milkshakes. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes milkshakes allow the food to be like amazing as a
Yeah.
whole.
It elevates the meal.
Yeah, I agree.
What flavor do you go for?
Banana. I know
That's
it's
such an
weird.
underrated flavor though.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I never go for it, but it's so good every time I have it.
Hmm.
When
Yep.
was the last time you had a banana milkshake?
I don't really remember. The last milkshake I had was an Oreo milkshake.
Oh,
Do you like Oreo milkshake?
everyone loves Oreo milkshakes. If
It's like a gazillion like calories though.
Oh, definitely. But if someone gives you that option and you don't take it, then there's something wrong with you.
Are you like do you enjoy eating Oreos?
Of course I do. Do
It's
you
like a
not?
ridiculous thing. Um so I feel like there's two types of people, right? The people that like the Oreo filling and
Yeah.
the people that don't. Which are you?
Are you talking about the filling alone? Or
No, they will go and like buy Oreos with extra filling.
oh, okay, yeah, no, I've tried that. Extra filling is too much for me. Like the normal Oreos is the perfect amount of biscuit
Mm.
and filling. I don't mess around with it. How about you?
I scrape the middle part
To
off.
eat or to
No, I get rid of it. I just prefer the biscuits on its own.
have you ever tried the thins, the Oreo thins?
I th- is that yeah, I have. I think I do prefer that. Yes. I always go for the thins with everything. I really do prefer it when it's a lot lighter, even with food. I prefer the lighter. I don't really like the creams and the things that just feel like the pasta, the creamy pasta would not be something I can eat as a meal. I'd have to have broccoli next to it as a side.
Yeah. I mean, it has mushroom in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like chopped up shiitake mushroom.
Oh, good. Okay, so let's move on to vegetables since we're talking about mushrooms. Um, what are your go-to vegetables and the ones that you can't eat, like you absolutely hate?
Very sadly, my favorite ones are often rare to find in other countries, like parsnips.
So you like parsnips, is that
I
what you're saying?
love parsnips. Parsnips are like the sexy
Ew.
sister of the sweet potato.
Ah,
No, maybe it's the other way around. Yeah. Like parsnips are like really so sweet and good. And when you burn them just a little bit on the edges, ooh, that's good.
maybe I've never tried it, but I mean, are they parsnips are those like carrot-looking things, right? That are like
Yeah.
carrots, but they're just like
White.
someone took the color away or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But it kind of tastes a bit like a sweet potato. A little bit.
It tastes like carrots to me. It just feels like someone
What?
like went onto the saturated when you edit a picture and they just like turn down the saturate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really unusual that that's like your go-to vegetable. I'm really surprised.
Okay,
It's just
you haven't had the full parsnip experience. One day let me make you like a proper Sunday roast with parsnips and y-
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I can't
you've
even.
been deprived of this.
I think it's vegetables in general.
Yeah.
Like there, some people make vegetables in such a terrible way that it kills like how the taste and everything, right?
Yeah. So I saw a tweet like a year ago and someone was saying about how British people don't make vegetables properly. And it was
Oh my
like,
God, I think so too. I really don't think.
but the thing is, like, I read it and I was like, oh God, we really don't. Because it was like, is it true that you really just boil them and then they're ready? And I'm like, yeah, are we not supposed to?
Yeah. Like a good example is Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts are like butchered by, I think British people just don't know how to make Brussels sprouts.
Well, we universally hate them in it's like the
Well,
joke
there's a reason why everybody hates them.
because we don't make them properly.
Yeah, like
How do you make a Brussels sprout properly?
so, so I think the way the Brits make it is they just boil it, right? And then just slam it on to the plate.
Pretty
And
much.
yeah, and that just tastes terrible. Like it's so bad. The way I make them is I slice them in half and then I put them in the oven and then sprinkle a little bit of sea salt and olive oil.
Ooh,
It tastes
okay.
like little tiny mini cabbages
You're not
rather
selling it
than
to me.
that's the thing. Like growing up, I never really had you know um, Brussels sprouts at home. Like I'm not used to it. But when my mum made it, it was like, oh, these are nice. But then
Mm.
everybody else seems to like hate them so much. But everybody has to make it and put it on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like they have to be there at Christmas dinner, but everyone hates them.
That doesn't make sense to me. It's like,
No.
okay, like learn how to make it like if you're gonna have it there, like let it be tasty. But try it like that. Like roast it in the oven. Don't let water touch Brussels sprouts. It just
Yeah.
turns into mush and I just don't get the appeal.
Well, I tried it with broccoli the other day because I was doing that with broccoli. And
Hmm.
then my mum was telling me, no, 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 just like drizzle a bit of oil over a bunch of broccoli things and then sprinkle it with a spice. I put paprika over it,
Yeah.
put it in the oven for half an hour or whenever, however long. I forgot about them. An hour later, I came back to some very burnt broccolis. So
And your
I
mum
need to try again.
is a vegan, so she probably
Yeah.
knows how to get the best out of vegetables.
She
Um,
does a good job, I must say.
Yeah, I think you have to be because if once you start like that's your main focus, that's what you make, you
Yeah.
start to understand what is the best way to cook vegetables.
Yeah. She's quite creative and versatile with vegetables.
So when you go for Christmas, like what do you eat instead of turkey?
There's like so my mum doesn't have the meat substitute things. She's like,
Mm.
well, no, because if it's supposed to taste like meat, obviously I'm not gonna like it. But I do, I just have like the meat substitutes. There's like a really nice thing in England called a corn roast.
Mm.
It's just like a tube of like fake chicken. And that's really good for a roast dinner. Like that and cranberry sauce or mint sauce. That one's good.
Is it the what is it? The brand corn?
Yeah.
Ah, do
Yeah,
they
so
have
people listening who don't know this, it's QUOU.
yeah.
Oh, wait, what? No. QUORN. Corn.
Yeah, and I like that brand. I buy the minced meat
Yeah.
and make like chili with it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, so let's talk about like the foods that are outside of the UK
Mm.
because we obviously know the shepherd pie and all of the food that we have here. But what are some of the foods you always go back to and you crave when I mean from outside of the this country?
So there's two main ones, and one is from Japan, one is from Korea. And one has such a strong hold over me that I smelled it while walking in the street once. And I think I booked a flight to Japan that same day or same week because I wanted to eat it so bad. Um, it's a Japanese dish called katsudon. So it's like white rice, then cook onions and oh shit, something else in a mix of like mirin, soy sauce, and you can choose. I sometimes use dashi. Uh, so I cook the onions in that, And then there's like also a cutlet of breaded chicken or pork that you can
Mm.
put on top of that. And then you put all of that on top of the rice. So all the juices seep into the rice, and
Mm.
it's the most amazing flavor ever.
Is it like schnitzel? Like the chicken, I mean.
I guess so.
Mm.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. But like the flavor is hugely, hugely different. And the other one is a Korean thing, which I'm cooking today, and that's just chicken pieces, and I'll marinate them in this Korean red spicy paste. It's called gochujang, and it's basically red pepper paste.
Mm.
So you mix it with that, sesame oil, salt, again, mirin and soy sauce. You can put sugar in it to give it a bit more flavor. I choose not to because I'm trying to cut down on my sugar, and it just tastes amazing with or without. And then top it with sesame seeds, leave it to marinate for like a few hours, bung it in the oven, and then you've got some really nice spicy chicken. So good.
Oh my God, you're making me hungry.
Yeah.
I like going back to the Japanese cuisine.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I feel like it's so clean. Like for some reason I have this idea of Japanese food being like just super healthy, you know?
Do you have a favorite dish?
Um I would say like seaweed. I'm really
Oh, yeah.
addicted to seaweed, so anything with sushi or just shredded seaweed. I just love it so much. Is it you've been to Japan, right? Like many times. Is this sushi there a lot cheaper than in the UK?
It kind of depends. Like, yeah, you can get it way cheaper and it will still be safe. Like here, if you buy cheap sushi, you probably will
Yeah.
get sick. But there, no, not so much. Like there, the food standards are so crazy high
Mm.
that some restaurants will offer you raw chicken.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about the other day. I was like, the chicken must be so when they do give you raw chicken, it
Yeah.
like to us, it's like we can't have like chicken
No.
next to even the cooked chicken,
Yeah,
right?
no.
When I worked in I think it was Waitrose. I worked in Waitrose for like 6 weeks or something when I was younger. So they like instructed me that the chicken, the cooked chicken and the uncooked chicken cannot be together. They can't even chill together for a second. Like there's no that's really strict. So when I found out that in Japan they eat raw chicken as a thing, I was like, whoa, that's insane. Like it took me a while to adjust to that idea. And then I was like, maybe the chicken is like super, super clean.
Oh yeah, but it's not a whole chicken. It's just like sushi size, like little tiny strips.
Why did I
So
imagine breast, like chicken breast, just on the table,
yeah,
like smack on the like? Why would I think that? Especially when I know sushi is not displayed like that. They cut it into thin, like sashimi, sorry, and
mm,
also sushi. They cut into like thin, beautiful strips that you're like, oh, this is quite nice.
yeah. So going back to the seaweed, do you buy the packs of seaweed and just eat them as a snack?
Yeah. And I'm allergic to iodine as well. So um so eating seaweed is definitely something I shouldn't be doing. But
Iodine.
yeah. So anything like seafood tends to have iodine in there and some people are allergic to iodine. Um
Jesus. Why is iodine in it? What is iodine and why is it in seaweed?
so it's just like a I guess like a chemical in there. Do you know when they do surgery and
Mm.
they put this substance.
The cleaning stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Why
but
the
in
hell is that
small,
in
small
seaweed?
amounts, like small amounts. So it's
Like,
not.
do the food people add it to the food to clean it, or is it just
No. It's
naturally in
just
there?
naturally occurring ID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm allergic to that. So, um, seafood has it, like crab and things like that will have iodine. But people need it. You see, people need
Mm,
iodine, and
yeah.
that's why salt. Processed salt has
Hmm.
added iodine.
I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah, and so it's I don't I mean I don't use processed salt with added iodine because it irritates me.
Mm.
It irritates my stomach, not me. So, so basically, people had like lack of iodine. Everybody needs iodine in their system, so that's why they started adding iodine to salt. But now people don't need that anymore because they're not. Anyway, yeah.
And it's bad for you.
Yeah, I'm allergic to it. Large amounts. I can't
What
do.
happens? Okay, like, do you throw up or do you?
My stomach becomes like really bloated.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just look pregnant. That's all. Not a big deal. I'm just like munching on seaweed. I'm like, this is not a big deal. Like some people have to go to hospital when they're allergic to something. So, are there other dishes that you want to like share with us that are amazing, or desserts?
Um, Other than the ones I've just mentioned, there's nothing that springs to mind. What about you?
I like Penang chicken.
That sounds familiar. What's that?
Thai food. Thai food is so easy to make because the paste is already made and that's the hardest part.
Oh,
So I enjoy making Penang chicken.
is it
Um,
spicy?
very spicy. Yeah, I love spicy food. I actually travel around the world just to eat food. Like literally, that's like I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
in France, blah blah blah. Can I have like can I have onion soup, please? Like I need to like I feel like that's part of traveling, like
Yeah.
eating the food like from the country. And sometimes I feel disappointed because when you eat that same dish in London, it tastes completely different. So you have certain expectations, right? Then when you go to the actual like the place where it was invented, you're like, oh. Sometimes you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I this is not what like it's the same as pizza, right? If you eat pizza from the US, there's so much cheese on it. And then when you go to Italy, it's like sprinkled with cheese. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
completely different to, how I'm used to it. So I prefer the Italian. Sometimes I do prefer the original like place or country, but other
Mm.
times, yeah.
There was one time I went to Naples in Italy, um, just for a food weekend.
Ooh.
Um, no one else was free, so I went alone. So,
No way.
um, but yeah, it was literally.
Mm.
I've been hearing about the food so long from my students. I was like, all right, I've got a free weekend. Why not? So I went there and I thought, okay, everything I see that I've never tried before, I'm going to eat it. Um, and I can't tell you how many different things I ate, but every single thing was so, so good. There was, okay, I had arancini, which is like a,
Oh,
do you know
yes.
what that is?
Yeah.
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 Okay, good. That's easier. That was really good. There was a bunch of different cakes. Some were like soaked in rum. That was really good. A bunch of shit with cream in it. That was obviously good. And then their pizza, mwah, so, so good. They did this pizza that was like €3. Three. And so it was a really good pizza, folded and then folded again. And it's like their famous thing. It's called pizza portafolio or something like that. And
Mm.
Jesus, that was so good. Again though, €3, and it was like one
It's
of the best pizzas
exciting when
ever.
food is like super cheap because when you live
Right?
in the UK or London, you're like, oh my God, everything is so cheap. Oh my God, I want
Yeah.
to eat everything.
Yeah. And you do.
So the other day I had arancini, and
Oof.
for
Where
those of you
from?
that don't know, it's it's a place called I forgot the name now of the place, but it's in Stratford, next to that big shopping center. Whitefield, is it Whitefield?
Oh, Westfield?
Westfield. So I had arancini and it's like so good, isn't it? Isn't it the best?
Yeah.
So
Pretty
for
good.
those of you that don't know, it's like a bowl. It's like a risotto rice,
Yeah.
with cheese in the middle, coated with bread,
Oof.
and it usually has truffle as well.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, the ones I have always have truffle, and
Oh,
it's
you're one of
so.
those fancy people.
No, I'm not.
Halima's one of
Yeah.
those ones that could afford truffle.
Not really. It's like accidentally. It's like, oh, hey, truffle, like that. But like, do you remember the first time you've ever tried truffle?
Yeah, on a pizza, and it was so good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a whole
I
new
thought,
flavor.
yeah, it is. For those of you that have never tried it, I definitely think that you should go and check it out. It's like a
Mhm.
type of mushroom that is really hard to find, right? And
Yeah,
people like, so pigs used to find it and
yeah,
obviously, but then over time they've trained dogs to find it, and then they dig it up and sell it for a gazillion dollars per
yeah,
like mushroom. But the flavor is just exquisite, exquisite.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. But yeah, in terms of like food, I would say like my top go-to food, like I loved Moroccan food. But I'm not talking about Moroccan food in London. So that was like the opposite. Sometimes I find food in London that is better than when I go to the actual country. But in this case, it's completely different. When I went to Morocco, the food there, the tagine and different types of food, that it was just amazing, incredible, incredible food. Um,
So they
so
do good bread.
Oh yeah. So all the bread is always fresh. Like they make it at home. So it just tastes like amazing. And I
Mm.
had this like unusual dish that had pastry, seafood, and then it was like layered with pastry, and then at the top they had like powdered sugar with cinnamon.
Oh my god, sounds amazing.
It
Wait, no,
was.
no, 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 no. Hang on, I take that way back. Seafood and then cinnamon.
No, so they would like have layers of pastry with like
Yeah.
seafood, or there was like an identical dish which had chicken instead of seafood,
Uh huh.
shredded chicken. But then at the very top, they would powder it with cinnamon and um,
Yeah, that's where the problem is. What? Why? What? Cinnamon with fish?
cinnamon and powdered sugar, and
With fish?
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I need to
Yeah,
try this.
I didn't get it either until I tried it.
Yeah,
And what's going on in my mouth?
that's literally a fishy donut. I do, I kind of want to try it though.
It's so good. It's so, so good. You actually have to like order it in advance because it takes them such a long time to make.
You can't get it here, I assume.
You can. And I'm
Really?
still trying to find Moroccan restaurants that are good. I'm still
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, I have high standards when it comes to Moroccan food. And anybody listening that knows a good Moroccan restaurant, please send me a message. I would appreciate it. Yeah. Have you tried, let me ask you, okay, like certain cuisines, if you've tried it or not. Have you tried Ethiopian food?
I have. I can't remember what I had. I definitely know I had the bread. Okay, bread from any country is going to be good. Like I don't know, every country has their own spin, their own take, their own style of
Mm,
bread. And
yeah.
every single time it's amazing. So I think it's Ethiopian bread where they'll have, I don't think it's with hummus, but it's with some kind of dip.
Yeah.
And I remember it being really good. I can't remember the name. I can't even remember the taste. I just remember that it was good.
Yeah. It's
Why?
like a
What?
pancake with like
Yeah.
little holes in it. It's called anjera. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. But lots of people say it in different ways, and Eritrean food is similar
Uh
to
huh.
Ethiopian. How
What would you
about,
recommend?
oh my God, just go, like, I think one day, like, I'll take you to these
Eritrea.
yeah, Eritrea. Yeah, we can have lunch there and come back
Okay.
during COVID. Quarantine for 10 days afterwards. No. So there is a restaurant in London that does amazing Eritrean and Ethiopian food.
I'm down.
Um,
Let's do it.
yeah, they have this massive pancake, and then they put all the different sauces on the top, and just the flavors are incredible. I
Oh,
really, really recommend Eritrean food.
that sounds so good.
Yeah. Well, we should wrap things up, and I want to go to my the last round now, where I ask you some questions that are not related to food.
Okay.
And question number one is, are you learning any new languages?
Kind of Korean.
Okay,
And
why'd you say count kind of?
so I started in September and I sort of left it after. I was like, I started super motivated and everything. And then um, it was a little audio course and
Hmm.
I finished it and I was like, oh, okay, I should probably continue this. And I just didn't. So that's a terrible answer. Okay, I'm kind of learning Japanese as well through TV shows. So I learned it ages ago, then just forgot about it.
Hmm.
And then recently I've been getting back into it because I've been watching a series called Terrace House on Netflix. So that's really, really good. Like I'm picking up so much that I'd forgotten about. And it's just, yeah. If you find a TV show or a movie from a language that you're learning and you really love it, that's the
Mm.
best thing ever for your studies.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I learned Japanese when in school, like just very basic Japanese. It's such a
What?
nice language to
Which
learn, huh?
school did you go to? Did they also serve truffles at this school? A
So there
fancy
it's a
school
language
teaches
school.
Japanese. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like we learned like four different languages there, and it was just like, oh,
Holy shit.
um, yeah. I think it's important for children. I mean, to be introduced to language at a very young age. So
Yeah.
yeah. So the next question I have for you is, what is your favorite English word at the moment? I know it changes over time.
Yeah, my go-to is always bubble, but that's because I can't think of a better one. Coconut's kind of nice. Let's go with coconut today.
Okay, awesome.
What's yours?
Eclectic.
Oh yeah, you did say yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's my
like that
favorite.
one. That's
Yeah.
fun because of the cl sound.
Yeah, it just sounds so nice when I
Yeah.
say it. Okay, the next one is, what do you like think of when I say fearless learner or fearless English?
Well, it's different because I know you, so I just
That's
think of
what
you
Will
saying
said
it.
when I said, he was
Yeah.
like, Halima. And I'm like, no, wrong answer. But
So,
like what, like the concept of fearless
like, what does it represent? You mean?
yeah, what do you feel like it represents?
I feel. I think it's really nice. It's sort of like you're taking control of your education and what your goals are and what you can do, um, and not getting worried about making any mistakes or failing here and there because we all do it and that's fine. Um, I do find it weird when people get hung up on making mistakes when they're speaking English or writing English or if they misunderstand something. It's like, yeah, but I've been speaking English all my life and I still do that. So, like, if that's one of your worries, then get used to it because it's never going away. Like, there are still moments now. Even the other day, I was like, oh, you know what? I've heard this word for my entire life, and I've never known what this word means. And I can't remember what the word now was, but yeah, I mean, that still happens to all of us. And I'm assuming people who are listening to this learning English in your language too. You probably spell something wrong or you say something that just comes out wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be a fearless learner.
Thank you for that. That was nice to hear your thoughts on that. So the last thing is, do you have any message or thoughts for the learners um, to take away?
I hope you're having a really nice day. And if you're not, I hope your day gets better. Um, ice cream is always the answer. Just be nice to people. There you go. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Ali. And thank you for coming on. I really enjoyed this conversation with you.
Me too. It's always nice to talk to you.
Bye.
Oh, bye then. That's abrupt.
It was.
Really?
I never know how to end
Wow.
these things.
How do you have any friends if that's how you act?
I don't.
Bye then. All right, should we do it after 3? Like 1, 2, 3, bye.
Okay.
All right, okay. Wait, on 3 or after 3?
After 3.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Bye. You didn't join me. You're supposed to do it at the same time.
I
After
thought you
3.
said, okay, bye
Like
everyone.
1, 2, 3, bye, okay? All right, okay.
All right.
1, 2,
2,
3, bye. That didn't sound natural.
I'm going to cut off now. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Now I want you to start taking action. I want you to listen to that conversation again, and I want you to select 3 new phrases or words that you've never heard before. Try to guess the meaning of the word from the conversation, then check the dictionary. Now, this is such a simple step, but it will go a long way to helping you develop your language skills. Once you're done with that task, I want you to look at the show notes below this podcast and have a look at the words I want you to focus on for this week. And I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next week with another podcast episode. Peace. Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Now I want you to start taking action. I want you to listen to that conversation again, and I want you to select 3 new phrases or words that you've never heard before. Try to guess the meaning of the word from the conversation, then check the dictionary. Now, this is such a simple step, but it will go a long way to helping you develop your language skills. Once you're done with that task, I want you to look at the show notes below this podcast and have a look at the words I want you to focus on for this week. And I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next week with another podcast episode. Peace. If you enjoyed today's lesson, then you'll love our speaking club, where we take what we learn in these lessons and put it into action. You'll get to meet other women and practice speaking English every week for an hour. All you have to do is go to www.blackboardenglish.com/cup. I'll say that again, www.blackboardenglish.com/cup. Let's work together to help you become a confident English speaker. See you in class.